Hi everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue on our PHP Basics series. We're going to take the form we made in Lesson 4 and add some more functionality to it. One thing to note is all I've done is just copied this and saved it as Lesson 5. So if you're doing the same thing, make sure to change down here on the action of the form to 5. That way it loads our new page rather than go back to Lesson 4 when you hit submit. So save that. What I want to talk about is form validation, and we're going to do kind of a very simple primitive form of it, but it does work, and you can of course expand on this and make it even more advanced, but this will do the trick as far as just getting the job done. So what we're going to do is we're going to head and use our current conditional here for the color. Let's go ahead and take out this line 9 here, and what we're going to do instead is if the color is null, we're going to create a variable. We'll just call it like message1 and make the value please enter a color. And then let's go ahead and copy this whole conditional and then paste it below, and we'll change this to user and make this message number 2. And we'll say please enter your name, and change this here to my name, which means we can come down here and actually take this out of our condition down here. And even more so, let's go ahead and just take this whole echo statement and we're going to move it inside here. And what we can do is, instead of saying if the user is equal to null, we'll say if the user is not equal to null, and that's done by putting the exclamation point behind the equal sign. So we can also get rid of this else clause. But furthermore, and the reason I'm doing this is so that if the username is blank, we don't want to show this welcome back message. We only want to show it if the data has been sent. So let's also check for the color code, and then what we're going to do that is we're going to say and, which is done by 2 ampersands, post color is not equal to null. And what that's going to do is make sure that both input fields are not null, and if they aren't, then it will post a message. But if either one of these is null, it will not show this message. But with that, what we want to do, or the next thing we want to do, is we want to get our error messages out here. So let's come down here and make a paragraph tag underneath my name is, and let's just run an echo statement, and we're going to echo message 2, because that's the one for color, or for user, that is. Let's just copy this line here and paste it underneath the color and change it to message 1. So now what this is going to do is if the user field is blank, it's going to output our message here. And I want to show you that we're not done yet though, so I'm going to save and upload it, and we'll refresh here, and you see what happens. It's working, but it's working too well, because when the page is loaded, it shows that you're showing error messages because the form essentially is blank. So we don't want that. We only want these to show up in the event that the user submits the form and either one of these fields are empty. So let's go back, and what we need to do is I'm going to go ahead and tab this out, and we're going to enclose it in another if statement. But we need to actually put a condition in here. So what we're going to do is come down here on line 43, and we're going to copy this button, the submit button, and paste it. And we're going to change the type to hidden. And if you're not familiar with all the types of input, hidden is basically a way to send a value back to the page without the user seeing it. So it's a perfect way to validate that the form has been sent. So let's just make the value 1, and we'll make the name of this input field, we'll call it sent. So now what we can do is come up here to our condition on line 8 and say if post sent is equal to 1, then it will run this. But if the form has not been sent, then sent does not equal to 1. So if we save and upload and I refresh the page, there we go. So now it will only show up if I fail. However, I think we have these backwards. Oh, no, we need to, on line 19 here, we did not change this to user. Copying and pasting blocks of code to save time is a great and efficient way to, in fact, save time, but you know, you do need to take a close look and make sure you've changed everything that's needed. So save and upload and reload the page. So my name is Alan, and please enter a color. Now, and this brings me to my next part of the lesson, is our error code works. However, the form got rid of our value for name, and for a simple form like this, that's not too big of a deal. But if you're making a form where there's a lot of fields to fill out, and if your user forgets one and comes up with an error and all of their fields are blank, they have to refill out the form, and that can be very frustrating. And that can be solved really easy. So instead, let's go ahead and let's give a value parameter to these input fields. So value equals, and let's echo post user, and let's go ahead and copy this, or sorry, this whole property here, and paste it down here, and we'll change this to color. And now, should this post variable be true, it will it'll output what was in there. So if we save and upload and I reload the page and I type in my name Alan, but I leave the color code blank, we will get our error and my value stays there. And vice versa, if I do a color and not the name, color stays, but we get our error. So that works. And since I have some extra time here, I wanna let's clean up our style here. And I mean, I know these tutorials aren't really about CSS, but it shows you how to, you know, make this a little more presentable. And so let's go ahead and give a style. We'll call it error, and I'll just change the color to red. I'm just going to use the picker here, and then we need to give that class to these paragraphs here. Sorry, error. And we can go ahead and copy that class name and drag it down here. So now it'll show up red, so it'll be apparent, because right now if we go to our page, this kind of gets lost because it's the same format as the labels here. So furthermore, let's go ahead and change the font size, because we can make these pretty small. It's not, I mean, they're important, but they should not be the focus necessarily. So let's save and upload and reload the page. I'll put in my name. There you go. We have a little error message. Now, one thing I want to show or point out is I noticed that when we do the color and not the name, it bumps our form. And that's not a big deal, but it's something to keep in mind. So maybe instead, let's do this. Let's change this paragraph tag to a span and take it, and let's just put it next to the form, and let's just delete this one and copy this here, change this to message 1, save and upload, and I'm just going to refresh the page and resend the data. There we go. So now our form doesn't get all screwy when the error code comes in. So we're going to do one more thing, and it kind of goes along with the trick that we did in the last lesson. And hopefully, I know some of you guys had an issue with it, so maybe if we do it again, we'll maybe resolve that issue. So let's go ahead and we're going to change this error class to, let's call it bad, and let's copy it and paste it, and we'll call this one good. And let's go ahead and change the color. I'm just going to use the picker again. We'll do like a semi kind of medium green. We'll save that. And what we're going to do now is make the class here dynamic. And what we can do, yeah, let's do that up here. Let's say class 1 equals bad. And let's copy this whole thing here and go ahead and paste it down here. And we're going to change the message to success, and we'll change the class to good. And let's go ahead and do the same down here. So let's take this here and make a copy of it down here, and we'll change this to class 2, and take this message here, paste it here, and remember to make sure you change all your stuff, so message 2 and class 2. And then we simply have to change this here, get rid of the class name, and echo there you go. And we'll go ahead and copy this and paste it here and change this to class 2, I think. Or do I have them backwards again? I do have them backwards. This is class 2 and this is class 1. Save and upload. And let's reload the form. Name is Alan. There you go. Whereas you wouldn't necessarily do this on a form like this, but there are reasons to have these kind of messages. Like if you're, for instance, if you were going to go through maybe a step-by-step login process or registration process, that is, and maybe you can utilize this to say, step 1 complete and put it in green, or step 1 incomplete and put it in red. So it's just a little CSS magic there. So there you go. That wraps this lesson up. We'll move on and get into some more functionality in the next lesson. Thank you.